So picture this. You're looking for work in a highly competitive job market, and suddenly the perfect opportunity appears. It's got the right work environment, remote, the right start date immediately, and the right salary, higher than you expected. Finally, the break you've been waiting for after receiving hundreds of automated rejection letters. The only problem? It was never a real job. It was a scam, and it ended up costing you far more than it ever paid out. Welcome to Nothing Felt Wrong, where we share stories about scams, deception, and manipulation, and how ordinary people get pulled into situations that feel believable until suddenly they don't. I'm Ann Genduso, and if you're fascinated by deception and human behavior, take a seat next to me at the Side Eye Society. Today's Side Eye session is all about job scams, which are exploding around the world. According to a recent study from the Better Business Bureau, employment scams doubled in 2025 from the year before, with more than 23,000 reported cases in the US alone. And the real number is likely much higher. One study referencing Federal Trade Commission data found that fewer than 5% of victims of mass market fraud actually report their crime. Joining us today is someone who spent years championing human-first hiring while helping recruiters and talent acquisition professionals become future-proof hiring partners valued by company leadership. She is an internationally recognized hiring expert, workshop facilitator, keynote speaker on 6 continents, and the author of Reboot Hiring, The Robot-Proof Recruiter, and The Damage of Words. And she has unique insight into today's challenges facing recruiters and candidates alike. Join me in welcoming Katrina Collier. Hi,
Hi,
Katrina.
thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to
Thank
this
you.
conversation. It's so important.
I'm looking forward to it too, especially because you have your own unique experience, which is just horrible. So, before we dive into some of these Reddit stories that I know we're going to share, I want to hear more about that. Take us back to the moment when you realized that someone was impersonating you.
There have been moments. That's the
Oh,
worst
no.
part. Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You only know about one, but I realized
Okay.
there was
Well,
a there was there
oh,
was an earlier one. I appeared on a website. There was a fake recruitment agency website that appeared, and myself and Suzanne Lucas and a few other industry influencers appeared, picture and all, on this website as if we were working there and supporting it. And that
oh my
was
goodness.
that was probably 2 years ago. But the
Oh my
recent
goodness.
ones have been the only time that I ever hear about them is when somebody forwards the Gmail email to me, to my proper
Mm,
domain, which is katrinacollier.com, right?
okay.
Of course, I have a Gmail account. It's for my mates, right? It's not for work. I use a proper domain like most business owners would do. But I started getting these Gmail emails, and I'm like, I don't
Mm,
recruit. I don't, I work with recruiters. Recruiters are my clients, and I
yeah.
have a book that has the word recruiter in it. But day to day, I don't recruit. And it's been years since I actually did. So that was sort of like, this is really frustrating. So, at times I'd have a note on my profile, like my LinkedIn, but then that passed. And then this latest one happened. And the reason this one stood out and made me feel so sick was 2 calls were booked directly into my calendar, which I thought, well done, job seekers. I know I'm not recruiting, but like I love your audacity just to book a call in my diary to discuss it, right? I thought that, by the way, I think that's a brilliant idea. I'm not sure the recruiters listening would appreciate it, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. But I immediately said, look, I'm not recruiting. What are you talking about? And the second gentleman in particular did not believe me. And the reason he didn't believe me, I
Uh,
later found out, is he had invested $1,000 in this scam. And
oh,
I
tell me, how did
felt
this work?
sick.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
well, that moment was at 4 a.m. And that, I think that was the day you messaged me, and I hadn't slept and my
Yes.
brain wasn't working. I could not get back to sleep. I was so upset for him and so infuriated that there is nothing I can do to stop it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so how it works is you get a, it's amazing. They're using the large language models, so whether they're using ChatGPT or Claude, and they're
Mm.
writing super convincing emails. They have
Okay.
scoured your LinkedIn profile. They've created a job that matches it in inverted commas or speech marks, as I think you call it in the US. And you get this email that, as you said at the beginning in your intro, is it makes you go, oh my God, finally something that I'm matched to. It looks
Yeah.
great. And they use, a proper email signature on it. And they'll misspell my name usually. So it's Katharina, not
Mhm.
Katrina. And they'll have a
Mhm.
photograph. I mean, sometimes it's me. Sometimes I'm an actress from the 80s. Don't know where that came from.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and they will use real links. So the link will be to my LinkedIn profile and my website.
Oh
But
my
it's a
goodness.
Gmail. It's a Gmail. And that's the bit where you should go, hang on a minute. No actual recruit. Well, apparently on my post that has 100,000 impressions, one recruiter does use a Gmail, but I was like,
Really? You were like, you might
yeah,
want to rethink that.
99.9% don't, right?
Right.
It would
Right.
come from an agency. If they're a sole trader, they would set up a proper email. They just would.
Sure.
Or it will come from a company. So
Right.
so
Right.
that's he fell for it. And then my understanding is, I mean, he hasn't told me this. This is just my understanding,
Okay.
is that they then will get you over to WhatsApp at some point and they will
Mm.
try not to swear. Am I allowed to swear?
You can
Are we
swear.
okay? They
Please
will
swear.
bullshit you. It's not that bad a
Yeah.
swear word, some of the ones that come
Yeah.
out of my mouth. But they will con you into believing that you have to have this formatted CV or it has to be a certain way to apply or whatever. They will get your money and then they will disappear. They would
Yeah.
literally, suddenly the WhatsApp's gone, the emails aren't being replied to. The email is still alive, I believe. I haven't even been able to get that stopped.
Ah,
Without the email header, I can't report it to Google to get it stopped. So, which is super frustrating. It's basically only the recipient can report it. So someone forwards it to me unless they go and look the email header up and give it to me. I can't self-report. I can sort of report for phishing, but I can't report for the actual, I'm being impersonated. This is not who. And it's
oh
dead
my
obvious I'm
goodness.
being impersonated because if you put the Gmail email address into like a draft Gmail, like if you go to
Mhm.
Google, it will show my face. It'll show me connected. But it's like, but it's not my email. I don't have access to it. I
Oh,
don't use it. So anyway, yeah, that's something that they need. And I just wish Google had an easier way for us to report and say, I'm being impersonated. Could you please stop this? So I get frustrated by that. The other thing that's happened, which can help, I'm jumping all over the place, by the way, but
that's okay.
that can help job seekers is Stacey Zaper has created the catfish list.
Ooh,
And if
okay.
you Google the cat, or just go to thecatfishlist.com, you will find hundreds of fake email addresses in recruiters' names where we've self-reported and gone, this is being used in my name. This isn't me. So
Oh,
that's,
oh,
but there's something worse I found out since then.
oh
So
no.
the latest
Worse. What's
one,
worse?
the worst, yeah. So the latest one is, so I'm katrinacollier.com. So they might
Mhm.
send an email from first name at thekatrinacollier.com or,
Mm.
collierkatrina.com. And so they're
Mhm.
doing that for massive companies. They're changing the email, the domain a little
They're
bit.
buying domains
It's,
up. Yeah. They're buying, yep,
yeah,
and making it
yeah,
look legit. And if you're a recruiter who
yeah.
doesn't have, you haven't purchased your own domain yet, like I don't own angenduso.com. Please,
Yeah,
nobody listening, please don't buy that. I probably need to do that right after this
go buy
taping.
it.
But,
Mm. So
but
I've
yeah,
got,
someone could.
yeah, I mean, obviously I have katrinacollier.com, obviously, but I've
Mhm.
gone and bought the .co.uk. The .co is about to renew. I just bought collierkatrina.com because I thought maybe they'd do that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
bought so, but it was
Yep.
like I need to buy these domains, and that costs me
Yeah.
money. Like it was 70 quid to
Yeah.
do that for a few years. So at least I know for a few years I'm protecting my reputation.
Oh my
but I
goodness.
can't stop the emails. And they're just, I don't even know why they picked on me. Maybe just because I'm very well known. I'm an author. I don't know. But oh, please stop,
I think it
please.
is because you're high profile. And
Mm,
so this man, he received an email that said that I mean, he didn't tell you this, but you
mm-mm.
found that like he received an email that
Yeah,
said, I have a job
this
for
is how they
you.
work. Mm,
Yeah. And he ended up paying £1,000.
$1,000,
Oh,
$1,000.
$1,000. Is he
Yeah.
American or?
I think he's
Oh my
South
goodness.
American, which makes it even worse. I have a feeling. And
Oh,
so and the worst thing is when he said it, I went, oh my God, I told you this was a scam. Like I
yeah.
have everything over my LinkedIn profile says, I have not emailed you about a job. I've had it there for a long time. So anybody
Okay.
who sees my profile knows. I mean, yes, there are other Katrina Colliers out there, right? That I know that there's a detective over here in the UK, wonderful woman. You should see the cases she's cracked. And there's definitely a teacher in the US. There are, but
Right.
any of the fake profiles, they're not filled out very much. Mine is
Sure.
heavily detailed with stuff. There's so much evidence that I'm a
Yeah.
human being. So,
It's so interesting because I saw that when I was researching and I saw that on your LinkedIn. It was all over the
mm,
place. You have it in your like featured section. Your
mm.
website itself said that. And I
I've
honestly
now
didn't.
added it into the contact section on my website
Yes.
because after those
Yes.
two calls, I just went, oh my God, okay.
Okay.
Hope this doesn't put off a client. Hi.
Yeah.
Fake me didn't email
Um,
you. Yeah.
well, like you said, I mean, it's really
Exhausting.
interesting because interesting in a horrible way that
Oh,
this could
horrible.
affect anyone,
Yeah.
right? Anyone who
Anyway.
might look like they're in a
Yeah.
potential hiring position. I was talking to my
Mm.
husband. I'm like, they could do that to you because it
They could
looks
do it
like
to
you could
anyone.
hire someone, even if you're not a recruiter.
Mm.
Um, they could do it to
Do you know the
anyone. So,
other thing I thought about as well? I was like, why is this happening? And you think
right.
about like, so I upgraded my iPhone. And
Mm,
for the first time, normally everything would just open. It's a very smooth process. You match the phones. Oh no, I had to go through all of my banking and redo every single app over and over and over. And I thought, that's why they're doing these job scams. That's why they've increased easy money. Everyone
yeah.
else is increasing security all the time. They're much more wary. I'm making a purchase, or like, has it got the padlock? I'm at my bank. Have I genuinely been asked to do this, or is somebody forcing me to do it? There's so much reporting. There's so much security, and I think this is
Right.
just people are desperate, and it's an easy scam. I think that's why it's increasing.
Oh, and it's so sick because, like you said, it's affecting the most vulnerable people. Like this job market is horrible. At least I know it is in the
Horrible.
US. So I'm guessing it's there
It's
too in the
horrible
UK.
globally, to be fair. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of it is because there have been too many people go into the knowledge sector, because that was
Mm,
like every country wanted to have really smart knowledge workers because that
right.
increases GDP. And then suddenly there were too many graduates, not enough jobs. And then along came AI and there were even fewer jobs. And so most countries, Western countries, have a shortage of tradespeople now. And
Yep.
it's like that's why the
Yeah.
markets, you retrain. Honestly,
Yep.
AI is not going anywhere.
Agreed. So,
Anyway, that was a
so
bit
tell me about
flippant.
this. Let's talk about AI a little bit more because
Mm,
AI has already changed the way recruiters have had to
mm,
work and companies
mm,
hire, and
mm,
obviously on the flip side, the candidate experience. So, tell me a little bit more about how this is
mm.
affecting people every day.
I'm so sorry, job seekers. It's just, hell, recruitment used to be so easy.
Mm,
We'd either directly approach somebody or we'd advertise a job and CVs would come, or resumes would come in. And, we would look at them and we'd give you a call, you'd answer your phone and we'd have a conversation. And you'd like, things would move really
hmm
rapidly. Now, oh my God, it's just obstacle upon obstacle. There's so much technology between you and a recruiter.
mm,
And then there's all of the myths as well. The reason this
okay.
job scam is doing so well is because people believe they need an applicant tracking system compliant resume, and they don't,
Right.
right? If you
Right.
can copy your resume into a text document and it looks the same, right?
hmm
Everything copies and pastes perfectly. That's
hmm
it. Because the applicant tracking system will take your document and put it into little boxes. There is a lot
Mm.
of technology, where there is high volume of applications that's not being helped by candidates using AI to write their resumes. It's just getting worse and worse. This is always the biggest problem in recruitment, basically. But because the volume has increased so massively,
Mhm.
some recruiters are relying on it more than they'd like to. If you are a job seeker and you're
Mhm.
using AI, let's say you're using Claude or you're using ChatGPT to make your resume match the job description,
Mhm.
it's going to make you really match the job description. And nobody matches the job description that perfectly. So it's going to
Right, right,
create
right.
this absolutely polished, exaggerated, perfect resume.
Yeah.
But so is everybody else. So what's happening now
Yep.
is recruiters can't tell the difference.
Right.
Then, if you're one of those job seekers who is using an AI tool to automatically apply, which is also happening, you're actually
Yep.
making
Yep.
it harder for everybody. Because what's
Yes.
happening is
Yep.
where a recruiter might have got 100 applications, they're now getting 500 applications and 300 of them
Right.
look the same. And I'm not exaggerating, the numbers are insane.
Yeah.
For anyone listening to this, the main thing to understand is you don't need an ATS compliant resume. And if you're going to polish it up on it with any of those tools, for goodness sake, make sure it actually sounds like you.
This technology, while it can be such a helpful thing, has also destroyed the hiring
It
process because of this. It really has.
awful.
It's frustrating as a job seeker too, though, because
Mm.
then you realize you get all these automatic rejections, right? Tell
So
me about what do you think, like, what would be a dead giveaway now that we know that scammers are impersonating recruiters or hiring managers or anyone? What would be a dead giveaway that something like isn't right? And you already mentioned the Gmail, right? Like, and having
yeah.
an off kind of domain or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what
Yep.
else do you think would be like, oh no, this is not what a recruiter would ask you to do?
Too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, oh, like your little, do listen to your gut instinct. Like, do
Mm-hmm.
listen. I know that there's people who don't, but honestly, the vagus nerve runs up and our gut and our heart tells us what's going on before our head does. So if anything makes you go, I'm not sure about that, listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Go and honestly, I before I'd even replied, I would be looking up the recruiter. Like,
Yeah.
is their
Yep.
name spelt correctly? Do they have an actual profile? Do they actually work at that company? Sometimes the
Sure.
person's not even at the company anymore. So a quick, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a 1 minute thing, right? It's 1 minute to go
Right.
and search somebody up on LinkedIn. You can do it from Google if you don't want to pay. Just, put Katrina
Mm-hmm.
Collier LinkedIn profile and up they'll come. I would do that. I would have a look on the career site. If it's a
Sure.
company that's messaged you, is the job actually there? And
Good
again,
call. Yeah.
I would be doing that. But then the second that they start going, you need a compliant or you need to pay money, absolutely not. It's a fraud. And that's when I want you to
Yeah.
find, because the only way we're going to stop these is do something. So either you,
Yep.
if it's a Gmail, you report it. If it's a domain name, I don't know what you do. Um, when I had that website that was created, I happened to know somebody that worked at GoDaddy, and that's how I got the website taken down. Otherwise, it
Oh,
probably
nice.
would still
Okay.
be alive. I had to use
Right.
my network to get that taken down, but you don't always know. But
Right.
definitely make sure that the company knows about it so that they can warn people, and if you can,
Mm.
warn the recruiter so that they can put stuff on their LinkedIn profiles. And obviously go to the catfishlist.com and see if it's been reported there. Is it genuine? And the reason Stacey created it as well, other than sheer frustration at Google for not doing enough, was she hopes people will Google somebody's email address. So if you Google
Mm-hmm.
it in speech marks or inverted commas, as I would call them, then they usually will bring it up together. They'll bring up the email
Right.
address all together.
Right.
So you better see if it's real or not. So
That's so smart.
but it's just trust your instincts. Does this seem too good to be true? Because it probably is. But
No, and it's so
they're
hard when when you're feeling like you're vulnerable, you really want this,
oh
and then and so it's
my
so
God.
easy to just like want
Yeah.
to believe it's true. So
Oh yeah. And
yeah.
I mean, don't think it doesn't happen in other industries as well. So I've had, I
Right.
mean, certainly Royal Mail sent me some very interesting Gmail things, but I had one from Hatchet there's quite a few going around from Hatchet Group, and they're like, "Oh my God, Katrina, The Damage of Words, it's such an amazing memoir, the way you write, blah, blah, blah." And it was quoting stuff that's in there.
Yeah.
And it was like, "We want to know what your next book is. Do you use an agent?" And
Mhm.
I was just like, "Oh my God, Hatchet have come to me." And then I was like, Gmail, Gmail. And
Right.
honestly, like,
Yeah.
I felt very flattered, and then I
Right.
deflated very fast because I saw the Gmail and went, and I messaged them. Sure enough, it's a scam. And I send them on to them every single time. I'm like, "Here's another one. Here's another one," so that they know
Yep.
about them.
Um,
Google's probably
it,
overwhelmed with all the reports, and it's just going, "Oh my God, help." They just need more
right.
staff.
Right. I mean, you touched on a really important point there, and we'll look in, we'll find
Mm.
this in these Reddit scams too.
Yeah, yeah,
It's that they appeal to, there's got to be an emotion that these scammers appeal to,
hmm,
right? And in this case,
yep,
opportunity, ego. I love, because they'll be like, "Oh, we looked at your resume. It's absolutely perfect. We love what you did
mm.
here, here, and here."
Flatter,
That
flatter,
is
flatter,
so
flatter.
powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful, because then you want, and especially again, if you're in a position where you're either, feeling like you really need something, or
Yeah.
even, not like you weren't necessarily looking like, I need to shop around my next book,
Mm.
but that like appeal can be so
Oh
strong.
yeah.
But
And also, because I don't think a real recruiter would write that much, because they don't want to
Mm,
say. So I've always advised, like, it's best to say, "Hey Anne, I see you worked here. What are your next steps? You could be a good match for us." They don't usually want to say, "You have exactly what we need," because you might come into
right,
interview and not have exactly what you need, or and how do we know
right,
that? Some candidates write
right.
back and say, "How do you know what I have?" So really, I don't think they would be that, in my humble opinion. Plus, it takes time
Mhm.
to write that, so I just can't see them write. But
Well, you're
yeah.
right, and there's also favoritism, right? Like, so if somebody writes that like that way, you
Mm.
don't want to like do that. And I'm not sure how it is over there, but like in America, there's like litigation you could be opening yourself
Yeah.
to by, saying all these things. So
Mm.
yeah, that's a really great point.
Mm.
Thank you. Okay, so
Okay.
let's move on. We just talked about what
Reddit.
these scams can look like, or look
Yeah.
look like for you. So now let's see how they're playing out for other everyday people.
Okay.
And all right, so let's get to these Reddit job scams, and I'm going to read them, and then we'll hear your reaction as I
Okay.
go. I tried to do
I
some that are
have
a
not
little bit.
heard them, so it's going to be my real
No,
reaction.
yes, that's the best part. Okay. All right. So the first one is a fake hospice job. And the title is I think I was job scammed. And the source is Reddit user Undersea Nemo. All right. Okay. So, like everyone else in this day, I am heavily looking for a work from home position. I applied for an assistant position with a hospice company on LinkedIn. I did a little digging, and the website looked legit enough to me. I heard back after a few days and scheduled an interview with a recruiter on Slack. This did raise a flag with me, but they assured me that they host their remote position interviews over text to ensure proper written etiquette, which made sense to me given it's a position heavily involved in emails and referrals. After the interview, I was reached out with an offer email. This email came from their HR director, and
What?
in it, in it was attached
Sorry.
an offer letter, I-9 form, and a background check disclosure and authorization form. I filled out the
Oh,
forms and
all
sent them
that
back.
private data.
I know, to which I was told they'd process my background check and in the meantime had me schedule an identity verification on
Um,
ID.me with a recruiter. I scheduled this for Friday. However, now looking into all of it, I'm worried this is a job scam and now they have all my information
I feel
because I filled
sick.
out an I-9. They have my full name, home address, social
Yes.
security number, and birthday. I also
Credit.
sent them
She
a
needs
copy
to
of my
get credit
driver's.
check.
Yeah. I also sent them
But
a copy of my driver's license because that's pretty standard for new jobs. I feel so dumb now, not realizing this
oh,
before sending all that over.
mm-mm.
They luckily don't have my bank info, and I have not sent any money or anything. And
I
my
don't need it.
Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax accounts are all frozen already. But is there anything else I should do to try to protect myself against fraud or identity theft? Please,
Yes.
please, please, please help me. I feel so dumb.
I would imagine that they are going to try and take a credit card out,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would
Yeah.
redirect it from her address. So yeah, I guess that's certainly what you do in the UK. Like
Yeah.
they would
Yep.
Royal Mail would have a redirect on your address, so you suddenly wouldn't be getting any
Okay.
post. I don't even know if you can stop that. I don't. That's my gut instinct of what's going on there. She
I
knew. She doesn't. I would say it this way: there is always a silver lining in every really bad experience we go through. Sometimes we just
sure.
don't want to know that. And the silver lining here is she knew. Her
Mm-hmm.
intuition told her this wasn't legit. She knew her little
Yeah.
gut instinct that we've all been told to ignore,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. So I'm very spiritual, so I'm a huge believer in we totally know, right?
Yeah.
And also because we're animals, so we've always had to understand flight or fright. So that gut instinct, she now knows what it sounds like. So the next
Mm-hmm.
time it goes off for anything, she'll be like, oh no, hang on, it went off before. So I would take that as a
Sure.
lesson.
Yeah.
Absolutely no company is going to give you an offer based off a text-based interview ever. Full stop, job done. That's it. It's not going to happen. There would be,
Yeah.
it could be video, but even then, if there wasn't an in-person meeting, I would be stunned even for a remote position. It happens. Don't get me wrong. I get booked for stuff all the time via internet, but we have one of these. We always have a video
Right.
chat where people are moving
Right.
their hands, and random
Right. Put the three
conversations
fingers in
all
front of
over
your
the
face.
place. Like three, was it three? It's a heat wave here. I could be doing anything, but it's so yeah. Bless her. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not the only one, but I think the lesson here is your instinct. You knew. Please listen to it, all of you.
Yeah.
You all know. I think we've spent too much of our lives from school being told to logic everything down instead of going, no, actually,
Mm.
this isn't right for me. I'm not doing it. So
Right.
just, yeah,
And that's what she did. She logic, like
she,
she
she
rationalized it away. She
logicked
said,
it.
"Oh, well, this makes sense because there's a lot of
It's going to be lots
writing
of
and
writing.
yeah,
As soon as you said
right.
that, she rationalized and ignored her
Mm-hmm.
instinct. It was like, I was call it like personality or ego. But
Mm-hmm.
soul is talking,
Mm-hmm.
your natural self is going, no. And this is going, oh yeah,
Right.
but. And
Yeah.
logicking it out and making sense of it. So
Sure. Yeah.
my fan just suddenly went on really high.
Oh, well, that's good. I hope it
I
cooled you
know,
off.
it's like, yeah, it's a bit random though. But anyway, it's reinforcing the point. We are energetic beings, we
Yes.
know. So yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. And everybody in the comments here agreed. They're all like, "Oh, you got scammed." So,
She did.
or they took your identity, at least at this point. Yeah. They,
100%. And that would terrify me. And I think that it would
yeah.
be a case of, um, oh God, what's it called over there? DVLA? Or no, that's here. Your driver's license, whoever that's from, all of them need to be alerted. I would be telling
Yes. Yes.
everybody, everything.
Yeah.
Banks,
Not just the three credits. I would do that.
no,
You might even alert your social security number
for
here
sure.
and
Yes, everybody.
you can alert the
Can you get a
FTC
new one?
themselves.
Can you get a new?
Well,
I don't
yeah.
even know if you can.
I honestly, I don't know that answer. I
No,
don't think
no.
so. I think there's something, there's like social security number is really hard because you're assigned it at birth and it's like,
Oh, wow.
that's
Okay.
it. Yeah. It's a thing. So I'm not sure if you can actually, I don't think you can change it, but they
Oh,
have some
okay.
sort of flag on it. So,
There must be a
um,
flag that it was stolen
yeah.
or, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her.
All right.
Okay. Oh, I'm not sure I'm ready
So
for
let's
another one.
go. Are you mentally prepared? Are you
No, I
emotionally
feel a bit
prepared?
sick. I can feel their fear. It's awful. Bless them.
Oh,
Right,
I
go on,
know.
go.
This
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Well, this one's going to feel a little bit more familiar to you. A little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So, story two is Hacked Recruiter slash Malware. And the title is Fake Job Scam on LinkedIn, Hacked Recruiter Profile, Fake Camera Driver Fix that installs malware. And the source is Reddit user apprehensive_way 4811.
Mm,
All right. So I was contacted by a recruiter on LinkedIn. Her profile looked real and had been active for many years, but I believe it was hacked. She offered me a job opportunity that actually matched my career profile very well. The offer was 40% higher fixed salary plus aggressive variable pay. The process seemed legitimate. There were real test questions and multiple
Yeah.
steps. And then came the part where they asked me to record a short video, like many authentic recruitment processes do.
Mm. Yeah.
When I tried to record, a message appeared saying my camera driver was outdated. It gave me instructions to copy and paste a command
Mm.
into my terminal to fix the issue. That command obviously installs malware, and there was a Linux, Mac OS, and Windows version of the command. I did not run the command because I recognized it as a scam at that point.
Whew.
If any job asks you to run a command in your terminal, stop. No real company will ever ask you to do that. This scam is well elaborated and uses a hacked real LinkedIn profile to look trustworthy. Stay
Mm.
safe. Ugh,
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I probably would have fallen for that because it would have
right?
been. I mean, I've got Avast software, which would have alerted me immediately. I mean, that's the big thing, isn't it? You should have that anyway, because I mean, they're coming in by email all the time anyway.
Sure. Sure.
Which is sounds horribly and flippant. The hacking thing I get because I had a really old Gmail that I don't particularly use that
Mm.
they kept creating LinkedIn profiles in my name or trying to, but then they couldn't verify the email because I would get the verify your
Oh.
LinkedIn email. And I got in touch with them.
Mhm.
I said, I think this profile is being created using my old Gmail. And then I had to, even though I didn't want to, because it was like, I don't want to give you this information, LinkedIn, but added, I added the information. Now, I think the other thing is I went ahead and did the verification of my LinkedIn profile. There's a lot of people like, what
Mm.
did you do that for, you Dumbo? All your data's been sucked up. And I was a bit like, honestly, my data's out there somewhere anyway. Like, genuinely, the number of people I have to give a copy of my passport to every time I travel, like I was a
Right.
bit like,
Right.
okay, so they have my passport. Okay. They don't have everything. And so my profile is verified. And actually, they delete the
Yes.
data because I asked them to delete it later and they said, we've already deleted it. We don't hold on to it. So the
Good.
company that does the verification process. So I think that would be I think recruiters are going to have to start getting their profiles verified. And that's
Yeah.
to protect themselves. And I think if you, as that person said, someone asks you to do a command like that, don't do it. Again, trust your gut.
Right.
But if you can get to the real recruiter, now that might be you find a colleague and
Right.
say, like, does this person work there? I just want to alert you to this. Have they been hacked? Because of course they can't say that they've been hacked, but maybe somebody can do a post tagging them in it.
Sure.
There's means and ways. But yeah, that's God,
And
it's
you mentioned
constant.
earlier, like they could call the company, right? Like they could actually you could try calling the main line in the company and try to get to the recruiter that way. Like I know
Yeah,
a lot of people don't like phones these days, but maybe if you can get someone on the phone, then you can verify. Because if that man
I
who had gotten scammed did that to you
yeah,
and
yeah,
had reached out, and that's what he ended up doing eventually, but he had already
yeah,
been scammed at that point.
yeah.
I mean, he didn't call
Sadly,
you, but he found another email for you.
yeah. He
Uh,
found my actual email. I don't even know where it is, but clearly it's out there. It's not definitely not like I didn't think it was public, but anyway, whatever. Usually I get invites to get. Now people find it all the time, so it's out there somewhere. I'm not particularly bothered. I block emails when I get spam, so go for it. I
yeah.
don't care.
Good.
But I'm wary, and again, I've got Avast, so I have protection on my MacBook, and it's only me. I'm not accessing
Right.
systems. A recruiter is in a company and can be accessing. Well, it could be the doorway to some
Right.
pretty interesting stuff. If they work in a bank, for example. So,
No. Yeah.
yeah, but I think there's going to be a step back to more. We need paper resumes. We need you to
Yeah.
come in. I think this is what's going. Unfortunately, there's
Right. Right.
because yeah, it's almost like technology's taken us on a really interesting path back to being human
I know.
somehow.
I know.
Okay, go. There's another one. There's another one.
Well,
Oh,
yes,
God.
there is. But with this one, there was one little add on that I wanted to mention. So the original poster had included a screenshot of the website that was asking him to record the video and the little
Yeah.
message that popped up that said to update the driver. And the name of the website that popped up for the driver was called www.wecreateproblems.co. And so the
Dot
moderator of the
co.
first of all,
Ah,
.co,
dot
not even
co.
.com. So the moderator of the thread looked up the date of the domain name because you can
Yeah.
look that up under
Yes.
Whois, get a Whois
Absolutely.
report.
Yep.
And the domain had only been created 2 days earlier.
Yep.
So that's another really interesting thing that you can do. You just have to pay attention to, because
Yep.
the original thing
Everything.
looked legit, but everything, like when that little pop up and
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's
actually I got one interesting again, like off
yeah,
topic, but good reads. Oh,
yeah.
come and be in our book club. I've had a few of those. And there is this particular group, and it does have 10,000 people. I did actually write something on, like, is this legit? And the administrators who I can't get to deleted my comment, which was so frustrating because I think it's a scam. But what I noticed was this person who was apparently representing them had just joined the group that month.
Ah,
So I was like, yeah, righto. That was so Australian. That means, sure, I don't believe you.
yeah.
Sit righto. But yes, and also on a LinkedIn profile, if you go under contact info, that it will show when the profile was created, I believe. So you
Yes.
can also,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're right. You're
check
right. That's
that as
another good
well.
one.
Yeah, I'm learning. This
I
is
had
great.
someone clone my
Good tips.
profile. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had someone clone my profile. It was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it was
Mm,
yeah. I was like, "Why are there 2 pictures of me and my name was just like
hmm.
slightly different or something." I was like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
but they took it down. So,
Oh, yeah,
all
LinkedIn are
right.
really hard on it. Once you report it,
Yeah.
they're actually pretty good
Yeah.
at
They
taking
are.
them down, but it's constant. Like they have such a battle. So
Yeah. I mean, it's that I think you're right. It's never ending.
yeah,
It's only getting worse. So,
be
all right. So
vigilant.
let's look at story number 3 and this is in the UK. It's a UK finance course scam. And
Oh.
this was titled Finance Job Scam by Reddit user unknown 002244. All right, so hopefully I can save at least one person from being scammed. To
Oh.
those of you applying to finance, please be wary of fake recruitment agencies. I've applied to a finance grad role, had a pre screening call, and told at the end that they will be putting my application forward to the hiring manager. And I'm one of the strongest candidates due to my answers, confidence, and skills. The salary was on the high end, but not unrealistic or giving any fake vibes. He expressed how his senior manager, who has been in recruitment for 15 years, is incredibly impressed and is keen on getting me through to the next stage. I was then told there's a slight bump. I am not enrolled into the anti money laundering CPD. If I can get enrolled and show that I'm working
What the?
towards it, then the company would consider me as this is essential to them. I expressed that I would get enrolled, but he said it must be accredited so he can send over some institutions that provided accredited
Mm.
certificates and will be accepted. Looking back, this was foolish of me, but in the moment, I was incredibly happy and the words were reassuring, especially in the current job market. So I enrolled in the course for £299.
Mm.
I'm now contacting my bank to get this money back, but please be careful. And then they put the website for the course was Accredited Finance Courses, and the recruitment agency was Regent Hire.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that is one thing. Actually, if you do it, is it PayPal or on a credit card, you can often
Hmm.
get the scam back, but most of the time it's bye
Right.
bye. Yeah, see you later. Cash is gone. Wow. I had not heard that one. I have
That
no
was a new one for
words.
me
Like,
too.
don't be lazy. Like, so much of this is about curiosity. And I think humans are, we should be curious, but I think curiosity has almost been knocked out of us, almost like critical
Sure.
thinking has been knocked out of us. And I think the big thing is here, be super curious. Don't trust anything. Go research. No, no, I'll find my own place to do this. Oh, no, no, you have
Yeah.
to use one of ours. What do I? Why do I have to use one of yours? But if there are others out there, I
Right.
might be able to find one that's at 199, not 299. Challenge, and
Right.
and they'll just appear, and you were like, but yeah, I mean, I go back and use your network. Anyone who's a graduate trying to get a role, you have to use your network. It's the only way you're going to open a door,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But stuff like that, just be curious. And I actually think it's really hard for that generation because I'm a Gen X, I grew up before the internet, modern internet. It was there, but it wasn't like it is now, right? And so for me, having access to data is such an honor, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean I believe the data either. So my natural instinct, because that's how we were taught, was to
Yep.
research and learn and blah. And now it's like you have the knowledge, it's always there. You don't appreciate that you should get super curious and go and use it and not trust what's presented to you and kind of go, well, hang on, I'll find my
Sure.
own course, or perhaps might have found another post about this kind of a scam. But it is great that people are posting on Reddit because the responses, particularly
Yep,
on Google, rank really high. When someone goes searching,
that's
does
true.
this seem legit? And up it comes. So I think that's a great thing. But I think the main thing is just be curious. This is odd. I've never struck this before. Ask around. Have you had this before? And people will be like, no,
Sure.
that's a con.
Sure.
And yeah.
But
So,
it is
oh,
interesting
it's
because
horrible.
this is a different approach to it. It's like I could totally see me getting caught up in that
Yeah,
originally. I
same.
mean, prior to now where I'm skeptical of everything.
I'm
But
skeptical of everything.
but the concept of you don't have an accreditation, there's one thing you need for
Yeah.
this. And that happens all the time where the people will be like, oh, we need like
Mm.
a project manager, you need the PMP course or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, it's that extra little, so here, you use it from one of these, and here's this, and like
And it's
there's always, I
anti-money
suppose,
laundering. It's almost like
I know
the
the
irony
the
of we're going to
irony.
scam you by doing anti-money laundering course. Like,
I
freaking heck.
know, I know. Yeah, that was just
Oh,
Alanis
bless him.
Morissette would have had a field day with that. Isn't it
Isn't
ironic?
it
Because
ironic?
that was, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But I feel bad for these people,
Mm.
especially like you said, new grads, right? Because they're
Oh,
already entering a job market that is abysmal and
shit.
difficult and filled with companies that are saying we don't need entry level hires because we can use tech to do it,
Mm.
which I
And we
think this
haven't
is
got to the
my
point.
soapbox.
Yeah, we haven't got
Yeah.
to the point that we realize that it's not working. Like we're getting there.
That, yeah.
Being older, I've been through a few of these hype cycles, and it was like, we're going to replace recruiters with AI. Yeah, sure you are. Because I've seen it before with big data, with mobile, with social. It's like they're still there.
Yeah.
And so we've
Yeah.
just gone through, and it's starting to come down, and the reality is going, oh my God, humans are cheaper than the AI now, so they're hiring humans in. So it will revert, but I feel like there's a bit of a
Agreed.
loss. And I just think the best thing that any of them can do is try and get some experience somehow. So that might be,
Yes.
you go door knocking, you go talk to your network, you just go find something else. And you might go,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's beneath me. But if you get some form of work, people will be like, what have you been doing? And you'll learn something from it,
Exactly.
even if you think, God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a courier driver or whatever. It's like, no, I wouldn't want to do that either. It's hot and hard work, but you'll gain skills from it that you can then talk
Right.
about.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Oh, well, I will say that I think the one thing that was really interesting to me that jumped out at me
mm,
for all three of these and often on these poor people who have been scammed
mm,
or who almost got scammed is that they all kind of talk about how foolish they felt. There's that shame. There's
mm,
that this is my fault in some
mm-hmm,
way when
yeah,
it's not. It's like these are highly
no,
sophisticated scams. If you haven't been taught to be skeptical like us Gen Xers,
yeah, yeah.
then you then maybe
We
you
we
weren't.
grew up with
But
it.
right, right. So, like you might not have that like
Yeah.
built-in skepticism.
But also you're
And
young and you're learning and this is how
yeah,
you learn. Believe me, Gen X have done way worse. It's just not recorded on the internet. Like way worse. But it's also, you'll move on and you'll look back and you'll go one day, I'm glad I had that experience because I'll never get conned again. And
yeah,
and I'm glad I warned people because all these people are commenting saying, thank you, my God, I saw that, and nobody will make it's so hard. Like there was only one person in the comment of my post where I talked about that man who said, like, I just don't
mhm,
understand why he would have paid money. Like, that's ridiculous. And I went, well, I'm really glad that you feel like that. But not everybody
right,
understands recruitment, right? Most people
right,
don't. You send your CV or resume in and you never hear again. Like it's black hole. Like it's the whole process
yeah,
is opaque. It's very easy to get fooled by it. So I think it's a case of just realizing you've learned something and that most people have also made monumental mistakes in their life and you
yeah,
learn from it and you move on. But yeah, just
yeah.
it's not your shame to carry. They're the ones that should feel ashamed.
Exactly. And I always say
Hmm.
that I think that this is the one area where it seems that it's still socially acceptable to victim shame a little bit and be able to say, oh no, you should have known better. You're stupid. And things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're victims. They're victims, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
perpetrators should be the ones who are ashamed for
And
doing what they do.
and I think if anybody ever does shame you, I guarantee they have done something worse and they're making themselves feel better by having a dig
Yeah.
at you. Because most people, I mean, I like to think about my first car accident, which was monumentally stupid, and I
No.
still laugh about it. Like I look back and go, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. But I'm not ashamed. I'm just like, but I also was really grateful that I had that accident because it
Right.
made me
Right.
understand how fragile the car was, right? So it was like, what's the silver lining in this? What's the benefit to you of this horrible
Yeah.
experience? Because there is one and it's a learning. And just if you do it
Yep.
a second time, then maybe you should start feeling a bit stupid, but not the first time. Not the first time.
Right. And some of these are brand new. Like we just said that last
I,
scam, like we hadn't heard of that one.
I'd
So
never heard of
like
that.
we're all learning together because they're
Yeah.
getting sophisticated. They're doing things that we haven't heard of
Bastards.
before, and it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
There you
Well, do you
go.
have any final parting thoughts on this before we head out for the day?
No, just stay vigilant. You have knowledge there. Use it. Don't take anything at face value. If it seems too good to be true, if that little instinct's going, oh, hang on, then go research. Use all the tools available. Go find people off LinkedIn as well. Where else are they hanging out? What are they talking about? Are they real? Because most
Yeah,
people have a presence somewhere else as well. So,
true. That's really good. It's really great advice. All right. Well, so I want to thank you for joining us,
you're welcome.
and we'll give you one closing thought here. That wraps up our stories. And I will say these scams don't work because people are just gullible. They work because they're incredibly sophisticated. They're getting smarter about the way they fool us every day. So thank you for joining us, Katrina,
You're welcome.
and for being so forthcoming with your story and advice. All right, side eyers, thanks for joining today's episode. And now it's time for this week's side eye question so we can hear from you. Thinking about these job scams, what stood out to you most? And what felt truly believable? And what would scream red flag to you? Drop your answer in the comments because we'd really love to know your thoughts. And finally, if you have your own story of a deception, scam, or manipulation, we want to hear them. Email us at stories@nothingfeltwrong.com. We may feature your story in a future episode, and we'll keep everything anonymous for your protection. Because the more stories we share without shame, the more we take back our power and take it away from these lying perpetrators. So remember, even the smartest people can get caught in sophisticated scams, and it can happen to any of us because nothing felt wrong until it did. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe wherever you listen, leave a review if you're on a podcast platform, and join us again next week. Until then, keep your side eye sharp.